Hustle culture is messing up an entire generation. I'm so sick of seeing all these videos out there, all these people out there talking about just hustle, just grind. You can wake up and work before you go to your actual 9 to 5, and then you can work after, and you can do this and you can do that. Grind, 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 and you'll be doing so well. I'm so sick of it. This isn't how you have to build a business. And it's all just based on greed. It's not even based on what it really takes. And maybe that works for a few people, but that's not going to work for most people. It says right here in the Bible, Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Now, Proverbs has a ton of amazing advice. There's a lot of good stuff in Proverbs. The thing is, I have studied a lot of different books. I've read a lot of different things on business. I built a business myself. I used to be in that mindset, that hustle and grind mindset. And it was basically this whole thing about, you just get up and you grind and you just do what you got to do and keep your head down and stay disciplined and blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on. None of that stuff really works because all it does is leads to you being majorly burnt out and ignoring how you actually feel. So when I was in the marketing industry, I grew. I worked in, corporate style. Then I grew. Then I worked at a small agency that I helped grow, and I was a VP and I was running a team and I was doing all these things. And I was burnt out all the time. Yes, I was effective at my job and I made money and stuff, but I was constantly burnt out and I was definitely struggling and suffering. And then later I built my own company. Same thing. I was a one-man company for a while. Eventually I started having to hire people because I remember I went through an experience where I had appendicitis and I got my appendix out and I'm working and I was still having to work while recovering and it was terrible. So I was like, I got to hire people. I need employees. I need to get this thing moving. And I built the company in a different way. We still had to work hard, but we didn't follow the standard thing. Like after that point, when I started hiring people, we only worked 4 days a week. We took off on Fridays. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we didn't work. And we didn't have set hours. We just did what we needed to do for the clients, and that was that. And everybody was happy, and the company worked so well. And everyone out there who tells you, oh, you got to get these many hours and this and that and the other, they're just wrong. We had happy employees who were able to just work hard because they knew that they got a lot of freedom and flexibility and they didn't even have to work full-time hours. That was amazing. Now, eventually I sold that company and then I have gone through building some other businesses since. And the thing is, I see all this stuff out there about how you have to build a business by doing all this hustle culture stuff. I mean, recently I talked to somebody who was trying to tell me that in order to get your business off the ground, you basically need to spend something like 6 to 7 hours a day just doing marketing and outreach. And that doesn't even go with what you're actually offering as a service. And I'm like, okay, so you want me to work 7 days a week trying to do outreach, reaching out to people, doing all this stuff. And this was what the guy was claiming. You do all this stuff. So right there, you're going to be spending, what is that, 50 hours a week if you do 7 days, something like that, just on marketing. And that doesn't even have anything to do with your service delivery of what you actually do. No, this is not the way. This is not the way to build businesses. It's not the way to live. It doesn't really work. And there actually is stuff out there that does work. So here's the thing. We have become obsessed as a culture with quick wins, shiny objects, and ultimately we end up burning out. So we get distracted by shiny objects and we want to pursue the shiny object. And there's all these people out there selling courses on how to do this, right? Oh, I can teach you how to build a high ticket business in 3 months. I can teach you this. I can teach you that. And I join my 8-week program, join my 12-week program, join my 6-month program. It comes with my course and my framework and this, that, and the other. Most of these people haven't built a successful business, first of all. Most of them have not. Most of them, their successful business is selling you how to build a successful business. So this business that they're selling you is their first successful business. Some of them have built successful businesses, but that doesn't mean that everything that worked for them is going to work for you or resonate with you. And most of the time, it is going to be some hustle culture mentality stuff out there. Now, this epidemic has pretty much led to all these bad stats. There's stats out there about like how many people finish online courses. Most of them are abandoned. I know this because I have a business teaching people how to trade, and I've had that for a while. And most people do not finish the trading course. Like, it's extremely rare that I see someone who has 100% completion on the actual course. I see a decent amount. There's a few that'll get up to like 80 something percent. It's like a very tiny minority that actually get up to 100%. Most get to like 10, 20, 30% of the course and then they never finish it. It's sad, but it's just true. And I even have it step by step, and I tried to build it, make it really like good for people, but it's because people are distracted by shiny objects. They buy 9 trading courses in communities and they don't finish any of them. And people buy the course because it makes them feel good, like, all right, I'm taking a step in the right direction. But then when they don't finish it, they start to feel like a failure, and then their identity becomes shaken. And what happens is they start to feel like a failure in their identity, which makes it harder for them to complete things. It becomes this vicious cycle where they keep starting new things and not finishing them, and they don't believe they can finish them or stay consistent because they've reinforced that by quitting things and feeling like they failed, being, having an identity of quitter or feeling like a failure. And that is just a sad reality. It's super sad. And I see it in trading too. So many people blow up their trading accounts over and over again. And the thing is, it says right here, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. So it's all about taking your time with something and really committing to it. Consistency is going to beat talent. That's just the way it is. But this hustle culture thing is just not working for most people. I read a book once. It was talking about how you could work a 9 to 5 and then you still have 8 hours to work on something else. And I started laughing to myself. I'm like, who is going to do that? Who's going to work 9 to 5 and then be awake from whatever that works out to be, like, 5 till 1 in the morning, go to sleep, or 5 till midnight or whatever for 7 hours. Then they go to sleep. They wake up at 8 a.m. They go back to work. It's like, what? What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? There's no sustainability in that. And no, you cannot do that. It doesn't work. When you have a 9 to 5, you can learn something else. I've done it. I've had a full-time job and gotten like an MBA while doing it, or like done a program or something while doing it. But it's really hard, and you can only sustain it for a period of time. Now, trying to build a fully successful company, that is wild. I mean, I've done that too. Like, I had a job and then I started building a side business that I turned into my main business. But there's a period of time when you're doubling up that is just completely unsustainable, and it will burn you out and result in physical manifestations of the symptoms. It's really brutal. It's not good. It's not sustainable, and it's not how you want to be. So what you do want to use, and I'm going to talk about this is an NLP technique, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And by the way, if you go down below to the description, you can join my free school community. It's called Man Rewired, where you can get free courses and learn a lot about neuro-linguistic programming. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. It's a community for men. And then also, there is a link to work with me one-on-one if you want to book a free discovery call, if you want to ever work on neuro-linguistic programming. It's all in the description, so check it all out. Now, in neuro-linguistic programming, we have a thing called chunking it down. Chunking is another way to say it. And what it means is, when we have a big goal, we have to chunk it down into manageable pieces in order for us to stay consistent. So if your goal is, let's say, we'll use the example of learn how to day trade. And then you go, okay, I want to learn how to day trade. And then let's say you find my other business. You find my business, Freedom Algo. You go, okay, I found Freedom Algo. And I'm going to take Nick's course and I'm going to go through. If your goal is just learn how to trade and then you just start doing it, you're not really set up for success. what you do is you chunk it down. Okay, I'm going to join Freedom Algo. Okay, I'm going to do the entire course, but I'm actually going to chunk it down into, I'm going to do each module over this many days, right? So I'm going to chunk it down into like every single day, I'm going to knock out a little bit of each module, and I'm going to commit at least 30 minutes a day to going through the course. You'll be through it in no time if you do that. You can learn it, and then you go, okay, I'm going to commit to at least this much time in front of the chart each day. And you start setting these like small commitments that you chunk down the goal. And at this point, you start having all these tiny little chunk down goals, and then you can go from there. Now, what I do is I actually have an accountability tracker that I use. Again, that's also free in my Man Rewired School community, and you can download the template. There's an entire video on how to use it and customizing it for yourself, and you can break it down as granular as you want. And then you can start chunking down each day as you work towards your goals. Now, my tracker is built out for monthly, weekly, and daily, but it's daily goals, and then it tracks your progress. And then you can use that as a way to start reinforcing wins, because every time that you knock out all your tasks for the day, you now have a winning day. And you just keep on stacking up the wins by chunking down the goals. Before you know it, you can go through the entire, you could totally go through the entire course in my trading community in a week, like no problem. You totally could do that. I don't know why people end up just like bouncing around and not finishing it, because you got to chunk it down. Now, I try to talk about this in the course too, and I try to work with people on this. Now I'm making more videos like this to try to help people learn how to actually do this, how to actually chunk it down into specific actionable items that get you towards your goals. Now, by having all these daily chunked down pieces of goals, you now win each day when you knock them out. Boom, win, 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 win. As you go, your identity starts to become reinforced as a winner, as somebody who's actually accomplishing things and actually working towards their goals, versus somebody who quits, fails, or just jumps out of the ship as soon as they think it's not going in the right direction. Because the problem is, we can't be a culture that's just obsessed with quick wins. Nothing good in life comes easy. That line makes sense. Nothing good in life comes easy. Like, nothing that's amazing was easy to achieve. We already know this. Like, think of just like fitness, right? If you have a really great looking body, because you've worked really hard on it, you know how hard it was to do. You had to eat perfectly. You had to work out all the time. You had to do all these things. But the people who make the most money in fitness are the people that sell you a product that says, oh, this will make you look amazing in a month. You barely even have to work out. If you make that, people will buy it because everybody wants quick wins. We know that that's false. Even with my trading business, I went through this. Like, I had somebody tell me a while back when I was doing business with somebody who was helping me with like content and stuff like that and editing, that sort of thing. And then I also consulted with some other people who ran other types of businesses. And everyone told me the same thing. You'll do way better if you make this seem like it's easier to learn, if you show quick wins, if you focus on what's trending in the market. And I was like, no to all of those things, because trading is extremely hard. Less than 5% of day traders ever even make money. It's extremely difficult. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I'm going to tell them the truth that it's going to take months and probably years for them to actually be good at this. And it's extremely challenging. It challenges your mindset. It does a lot of things that are difficult. There is no such thing as a quick win in this industry. And I don't care what's trending, because I do what works. What's trending isn't what works. What's trending is what blows up people's accounts. So you have to have integrity as a business owner, but most online things that I see are not built with integrity in mind. They're built with making as much money as possible in mind. So you, as a person out there looking into learning some skill, figuring it out, it's extremely challenging in this day and age to find the right stuff. I see this all the time, but just be leery of this whole like hustle culture, just grind, Sigma grind set, all this ridiculous stuff. It's not what works. You don't want to have to feel like you're grinding your life away just to make money so that you can feel good later. You want to feel good in your life day to day. Every day, you want to feel good in your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have some struggle. Like, I do hard things. Yesterday, I did a hard workout that was so hard that by the end of it, I had to lay on the floor for like 10 minutes before I felt like I could get up and take a shower. That sucked. I put myself through that. Because you still have to do hard things, but you don't have to completely suffer your whole life. That's the point. This whole like, you got to suffer to have greatness, like this just ridiculous mindset. Yes, you have to suffer certain things and you do have to have struggle and you do have to do hard stuff to be successful. Yes, but you don't need to be suffering all the time to have success. You don't. There is a such thing as working hard and having fulfillment and enjoying your day-to-day life because we have the present moment. We can't just be thinking for the future only. We have to be in our present moment. So stop with the hustle culture stuff. There's other ways to do this. Yes, you have to work hard. Yes, you have to be disciplined. And there are ways to do this. I have all of them, not all of them, but I have a lot of them available for free in my community with all the NLP frameworks and everything like that. Now, of course, there's more than, that's why I said it's not all of them. It's a lot of things that you can do. Daily practices, things like that. And there's no one that can cover all of it. And there are differences for different people. Some people just have more tenacity than others and whatnot. But I will tell you this. I've met people that identify as lazy. If anybody knows who Andy Frisella is, check him out. Andy Frisella says this. He said, he's like, I'm a lazy person. He's like, I am a fat kid at heart. And he, at one point, was like, I think over like 300 pounds or something like that. He was huge. He had gained all this weight. He had just wasn't eating well, wasn't working out. Meanwhile, he owned a fitness supplements business while doing that. And he'll tell you that he is naturally a lazy person, but he does a lot of the stuff that I talk about. He does a lot of this stuff with chunking things down into daily wins. The idea of having each day be a win, that came from him. Chunking down didn't come from him, but that idea of winning the day came from him. And that was an inspiration for me, and it totally works. And it works with people I know who are identifying as lazier people or not naturally tenacious. So don't think that there's just some natural talent out there that makes people successful. Like, you can be any type of person and you can chunk things down and you can make it work for you without just, blindly following some of the hustle culture narrative that's going to lead to you being burnt out and feel like a failure and actually make things worse. So anyway, I will see you in the next one.